In this video, we are going to revise some questions from English, paper 2 of 2022 for external GCE. Now we have two sections, section 1 and 2. Now the first question, question 1, we are dealing with a structure, and this structure on section 1 consists of vocabulary. Then the statement is, from the given 4 options, choose the one that completes the sentence correctly. Write your answers on the space provided. Ensure that your answers are spelled correctly. So we have been given 20 questions with 4 options for each question. Now the task is we need to find the correct preposition in accordance with the way the question is, and also you may need to use the principles behind the phrasal verb. So let's begin with the first question. Lenga sent a copy of his will to his lawyer - safekeeping. So here the best answer for question 1 is 4. So that is our best preposition. You send something for safekeeping so that they keep it safe for you. Now number 2, the car is to be sold - auction. So this one only auction. So whatever item is sold only auction, and depends. Auction can be used as a verb and also can be used as a noun. So depends with the use of that word in that particular sentence. Now for question 3, Mr. Mbida is a good teacher who takes great pride - his work. So to get pride in something that you do is to do it passionately, to do it with your energy. So the answer here is in. So you take great pride in something. Now for question 4, I am not - liberty to tell you what happened at the bank. So this phrasal verb or sentence means that I'm not allowed. So since we have liberty goes with at. So I am not at liberty to tell you what happened at the bank. Question 5, there was a lamp hanging - the baby's crib. So a crib is a bed made for kids or children. So the best preposition is in the baby's crib. So this one we have in. Then for question 6, the delegate was - himself with rage when he was mistaken for an intruder. So the delegate was against. So a delegate is a person assigned to do something. So he was against himself with rage when he was mistaken for an intruder. Then for question 7, the 2 men were found - fraud. So fraud, it's a crime. So here it's awful. You are found guilty of a crime. Then we go to question 8. The news of a friend is suffering reduced her. So you are reduced to tears. This means that you cry heavily. Then question 9, my father enjoys coffee - milk. So for the best one here is without. So without milk. So my father enjoys coffee without milk. Then we go for question 10. Question 10, criminals are usually punished in accordance - the law. So the punishment given to criminals depends on what the law states over those crimes. So here the best preposition is to. So you are punished according to the law. Then for 11, the hunter sat down - the fire. So the hunter sat near or closer to the fire. So the best answer here is by. So by can be used to show if you are close, like I am standing by your door, I'm standing by your gate. So this means that I'm just closer to that. Then let's move on to question 12. Mwansa 10 dash her request. So this person refused that request. So this preposition that should go here is down. So to turn down something means to, like, you refuse to accept that. Then question 13. The new teacher's house was a few meters dash from school. So we are being tried to be told that the distance between the school and the new teacher's house. So it is a few meters away from school. So the best one is away from school. Okay, let's move on. So we go to question 14. So question 14 reads, men think it is dash their dignity to help around the house and watch the children. So we are looking at with the dignity of men, they think it is beneath their dignity. So the answer here is beneath. Beneath your dignity simply means like it's lower than your value. You feel like you are not qualified for that, you are more than that. That's what it means to be beneath their dignity. You can't do it because it's lower than you. Then for question 15, dash then he had treated her with total respect. So we are trying to indicate the time that person treated her with total respect. So the best answer here is since then. So since can be used to show the beginning of the beginning of a certain period. Okay, now we can move on to question 16. The prisoners escaped dash jail. So you escape from something. So escaped from jail. 17. Everything dash him was a masculine. So masculine here, 17 is about. So the answer here is about. So everything about him was masculine. Then question 18. He is dash a job. So he is after. If you are after something, it means you are looking for that, you want to have it, you are pursuing that. This also, that is why the reason behind, if you say I'm looking for a job or I'm going for a work, means you are looking after that. You are trying to find a work. You do not have a work now, you are looking for that. So there is a difference between I'm going to work and I'm going for work. To go for work, it means you are looking for a job. You don't have a job, you are trying to pursue a certain work. Then if you have a job, you go to work. You don't go for work, you go to work since you have it. So there is the work there represents an action, so we need a preposition of to. Okay, now we can move on to question 19. Mr. Snonge shared his wealth dash his 4 children. So we have 4 children. The best one is among. It's more than 2. If they were 2, we would have used between. So since there are more than 2, we use among his children. Then the last one for the first party. Silence fell dash the couple and then he spoke. So silence between the couple. So the reason why we've used between this time, because a couple, it consists of 2 things. In our case, 2 people. Okay, now let's move on to the other party. So transformation, which is these are also known as the rewrites. So in each of the following items, sentence A is complete, but sentence B is incomplete. Complete sentence B each time, making it as similar as possible in meaning to the sentence A. Make sentence B one sentence, never two. Do not make any changes to the printed parts of section E, sentence B. So here, the key point is we have been given two parties. The first party, part A, is the sentence is given for us. Then part B require us to rewrite that sentence in another way, but maintaining the meaning. So let's look at the first question. So the first question is, this knife is not as sharp as that one. So we have two knives. We are comparing two knives. Now the key, there is this. So this knife. So the first knife is not as sharp as that one. So that knife is sharper than this one. So the answer for the first party is that knife is sharper than this one. So that knife is sharper than this one. So that knife is sharper than this one. Okay, let's move on to question 2. The members of parliament will make him president of the country. So this person will be made a president because of the members of parliament. So we can see that we have been started, the sentence has been started for us. He will. So the answer is he will be made president of the country by the members of parliament. So the first party is in an active format. So our task is to convert it into a passive. So whenever we use by, it is done by this one. That's a passive kind of language. So he will be made president. So he will be made president of the country by members of parliament. Okay, we'll move on to question 3. Unless it rains tomorrow, we shall hold an extraordinary staff meeting. So the word unless is a negative word, which means if not. So the condition for this sentence is the condition depends on rains. So if it rains, they shall not hold. But if it does not rain, then they shall hold. So the condition depends on if it is going to rain or not. So we'll say if it rains tomorrow, we shall not hold. So we shall not hold an extraordinary. Okay, now let's move on. So let's go to question 4. The room is dilapidated, but it is still used as a laboratory. So the word dilapidated means something that is old, a room that is old. So maybe we can say an ancient room. So it is old, maybe somehow damaged. That is a dilapidated room. So even though that room is damaged, it is still used for laboratory purposes. So no matter how dilapidated the room is, comma, it is still used as a laboratory. So it is still used as a laboratory. Now let's move on to question 5. He has had his chicken stolen. So he has had. So the answer is his chickens were stolen. Now for question 6. Mumbi is less intelligent than any other member in the family. So we don't know the number of members in this particular family, but of which Mumbi is less intelligent. Now from the part B, Mumbi is. So we can say Mumbi is the most dull. The most dull member. The most dull member in the family. Okay, so Mumbi is the most dull member in the family. Then question 7. There was very little salt in the bottle. Begin, there was scarcely. So the word scarcely means little or almost nothing. So the answer here should be there was scarcely any. So after the word scarcely, we need to have any. There was scarcely any salt in the bottle. Okay, question 8. He is a very experienced goalkeeper. He cannot let down his team. Okay, so he's so experienced in goalkeeping. So he's so experienced. He's so experienced in goalkeeping. So whenever we use so, we need to have that. So he's so experienced in goalkeeping that he cannot let down his team. That he cannot let down his team. Okay, so now move on to question 9. Married couples must not by any means engage in gender-based violence. So by no means should married couple married couples engage in gender-based violence. Okay, so Then for the other question, question 10, the last one. Mr. Jones is wealthy, but he does not adequately support his family. So wealthy is Mr. Jones. Wealthy is Mr. Jones, but he cannot, but he does not, let's use the same language. So, but he does not, support his family. He does not adequately, let's not forget, adequately, does not adequately support his family. Now, from there, we go to question 2, comprehension. Now, there is no actual key to comprehension. Comprehension depends on how good you are with understanding. So when you go through the given passage, so the questions that comes later is how good are you with understanding the grammar and vocabulary from the given passage. Then also, how good are you with some of the underlined words? Okay, so let's look at the first paragraph. Paragraph 1. Adultery, disloyalty, and lack of communication among couples have contributed to many marriages falling apart. This is a very sad development indeed. In a population as small as Zambia's, the divorce figures are quite high and disturbing. They suggest instability which permeates several sectors of productivity. Paragraph 2. It is disheartening to note that there is lack of commitment to the matrimonial vows that couples make. If couples meant what they said in the matrimonial vows, most marriages would strive to rebuild and find their love rhythm beyond the difficulties that would lead to a breakup or dissolution of the matrimonial bond. Before people marry, it is important to get to know each other well. Taking enough time in courtship is key, as this can build true and trust and love. It is worthy nothing that instant marriages lead to quick divorce. Paragraph 3. In Zambia, most marriages are not backed by institutions of counseling that can help struggling marriages to find common grounds to reconcile their differences. It seems couples are now left to handle their own problems. Since it is dispute that cause marriages to crumble, it is unlikely to imagine a possibility of a husband and a wife reconciling without their seeking the counsel of a third party. It is usually, paragraph 4, usually, it is not one problem that leads to marriages ending in divorce. Mostly, it is a multiplication of problems which neither of the couples in marriage can put up with that result in their deciding to seek the dissolution of their matrimonial unions. Sometimes their closest relatives, friends, and church members take it upon themselves to assume advisory roles, but this does not yield anything. Paragraph 5. In the past, marriages were a process that involved go-betweens who did a lot of work by consulting about the background of the suitors seeking to marry. This meant that the relatives, especially elders, were well grounded in marriage and its expectation and told it all to the would-be husband and wife what exactly they were taking themselves into. The go-between team from bridegroom did not hide the history of their sign, and neither did the one representing the bride's side. Paragraph 6, the last one. Once marriage was settled, the teams from both sides became the reconciliation court for any marriage differences. Hence, marriages of our parents thrived in the midst of turbulence and all sorts of challenges. Today, young people sometimes decide to marry just after convincing themselves that they love each other without their due process. When trouble arises in such a family, there is literally no outside wisdom of the elderly to try and find the cause of disagreements in the marriage. As a result, their marriage differences are sorted out in a local and magistrate courts where there is usually not much to look at. The wishes of the couple to either save their marriage or break it up prevail. So adapted from Zambia Daily Mail, Saturday, February 15, 2020. Then, in each of the questions 1 up to 9, select the best answer from the 4 options provided. Indicate your answer by drawing a circle around the letter of the question paper. As in the example given below, if you change your mind, cross out the initial choice very neatly, then circle your revised answer clearly. For question 10, answer as instructed. So we have been given a passage with 6 paragraphs, and this passage is talking about the reasons behind the divorces that are taking place in Zambia. So then also they are also trying to compare the marriages of people of old times to the marriages of nowadays. So now let's look at the first question. Question 1, paragraph 1. Which one of the following is mentioned as one of the reasons for divorce? So from paragraph 1, the first one, communication among couples, failure to provide for one's family, sex outside marriage, vulgar language. So the best answer for the first one is communication. So communication is what is causing the breakup according to paragraph 1. Then according to paragraph 1, which is question, prevalence of divorce among couples suggests. So prevalence means like commonness, something that is common. So prevalence of divorce among couples suggests, so we have A, stability in several sectors of productivity in various sectors being unstable. C, productivity in several sectors of the economy declining. D, multiple sector of productivity being unstable. So the answer is D. So the divorce is making the sectors, most of the sectors, to decline. Then for 3, the phrase lack of commitment in paragraph 2 means, so lack of commitment, the first one, lack of seriousness. B, failure to meet the basic requirements, failure to adhere to matrimonial vows. So to commitment, when you commit, it's like you vow, you say that I'm going to do this regardless of what happens. So it's to adhere, which is C. So failure to adhere to matrimonial vows, the vows that you made during the wedding or during the day that you, maybe a couple, got married. Now question 4, paragraph 2. Instant marriages lead to quick divorce. Then enough time is taken in courtship, insufficient time is taken in. So B, insufficient time. So maybe you meet for 2-3 months, you even plan to get married. So there is insufficient time in courtship, we are looking at the period where a couple know each other. Now let's move on to question 5. According to paragraph 3, disputes in marriage can best be handled by so according to paragraph 3, so third party. So a third party, maybe is we have a counselor, maybe the elders, parents from each side. So that represents a third party. Sometimes a third party is needed to counsel or to give guidelines to the couple when they are facing difficulties. Now let's look at question 6. Paragraph 4. Most of the married couples decide to divorce because of so that is B. So because of their being unable to put up with the demands of marriage. So to put up is like to tolerate, because a relationship, or we can just say marriage, has so many demands. It requires demands from each side of the couple. So if one of the two, sometimes both of the two, fails to put up to tolerate those demands of the marriage, then the marriage may crumble. So they are being unable to put up with the demands of marriage. Now let's look at question 7. Which one of the following statements is not correct according to paragraph 4? So the first one, elders were not provided with their information regarding the suitors. Relative played an important in marriage. The goal. So the first one, A is not correct. Elders were given information. So this was according to how marriages of old times were done. So marriages of old times were done. The elders were given information from the bride's groom side and also from the bride's side. Now question 8. Marriages of our parents in the past thrived in the midst of turbulence and all sorts of challenges owing to. So here, so the best one is C. So owing to the families of the bridegroom and the bride intervening in times of marital disputes. So the families from each side must intervene when the marriage is about to crash. Okay, now let's move on to question 9. Paragraph 6. Without the due process means young people so without the due process, so disregarding traditional norms, ignoring the advice rendered to, so making matrimonial vows that are not approved by their. So the answer is C. So here, making matrimonial vows that are not approved by their parents, like you meet for 2 months, then from there you plan to get married without involving the parents. So meaning you are not letting the parents to intervene. Then for question 10, from the underlying words in the passage, find one word which means the same as or nearly the same as the following word. Or so the first one, succeed. So to succeed means to thrive, at least. So thrive. So thrived. Then period of knowing each other, courtship. So courtship is the time where the two knows each other. Then spreads to every party of, so spread from the given passage, spread, that is to permit. Then violent disorder we have like turbulence, so where there is no order. So turbulence, it's a time where there is a disorder. Now for the last party where we have this summary, I'll just give you some inches on how to handle the summary. So we know the first step, you need to read through the passage, you understand it. Then after you understand the passage, when writing your final summary, you need to make sure that you use your own English. You don't copy the sentences the way they are in the given passage. So you need to make some changes. Now, for you to know the points, so I just want you to show you how we depict the points from a given passage. So from the first passage up to, the first paragraph up to the last paragraph, when reading through, you just underline the word and. So you just follow where you've seen the and. So whenever there is and, these are the points. So that is the best way to identify the points. So every sentence that has the word and is a point. That's what you do. You underline this. Then after underlining these points, then from there you can write your own now summary. So you use your own terminologies, then your own English, and also you make sure that you stick to the number of required words. So if you are, I'm sure that is for this video. So if you are new to this channel, consider subscribing, share with friends so that you will help me to grow this channel. Thanks for watching.